Hey you guys, just a quick little announcement. Unfortunately, through the making of this video, a director was announced, so this video could be made null and void, but instead, I just want you to take the video as a who could direct a future Batman film. That way, I don't have to delete all the work that I've lazily done over the past couple of weeks, and you can still enjoy a video. Enjoy! Yo, this is pretty unheard of, but I'm doing a video a week after the previous video. That's right, a semblance of consistency. But don't count on I'm not Superman. In fact, by the time this actually gets released, I'll have almost certainly been really lazy and just left the recording way too long, so this will have probably been like 2 weeks away from my last video, so I've probably just told you a lie and decided to just leave it in anyway because I'm a liar. That reminds me of last week's video, which everyone should see. Plug! Okay, now that the plug is out of the way, let's get on to what I'll be talking about today. Who should direct The Batman? If that gets you by surprise, let me just get you up to speed. For the longest time, Ben Affleck has been attached to write, direct, and lead DC's new Batman film as part of the DC Expanded Universe. Fans were overjoyed because Affleck is a proven director with plenty of talent, and there are all sorts of rumors and announcements thrown around like full creative control and other similar things. But all the nerds' dreams were dashed just last week when Ben Affleck chose to step down as director, saying, "Together with the studio, I've decided to find a partner in a director who will collaborate with me in this massive film." Ever since this happened, I've been in a panicked frenzy, worrying that a new director would be announced and this video would be made dated before it was even made. What a tragedy. You don't want that to happen, do you? So imagine my shock when Matt Reeves, director of that first Cloverfield film and the best Planet of the Apes film, was nearly announced. Nearly. So there's still that potential that I can direct it. That's all we want. Me to direct it. Or one of my friends. I don't know. Rumored after that were two more names. Fede Alvarez and Ridley Scott. Alvarez being the director of the 2013 Evil Dead film and last year's Don't Breathe. And Ridley obviously needs no introduction. Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, Martian. Even if you don't know him, you know him. Now look, I like these three, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going to be either of them. So with that, I'm going to try and answer the question you've all been asking. Who's it going to be? I mean, it's not like we can get some random anime fan at the street and get them to direct it. It's got to be someone... Wait, maybe we could. Say they were like a really big fan of Death Note and they could like bring some detective-y stuff and it'd be really cool. If you're a fan of Death Note, let me know and you can direct the film because I have that authority. But until then, I'm going to go through some big name directors who have recently made some big movies and talk about whether or not they'd fit the universe of Batman. The catch though, no previous Batman directors can be chosen. As much as we've all been clamoring for Joel Schumacher to return to the bat nipples, it just wouldn't be fair for the rest of the directors living out there hunting for the next movie. They need movies too, man. It's got to be fair. Anywho, let's get started. The first big name director I think of straight away who recently made probably the biggest and most risky movie ever, J.J. Abrams. This instantly, I feel, is the wrong choice. As good as J.J. is, as great as J.J. is, the movies he's made lately, and his style are more Spielberg-esque adventures, which would just be completely left field and pretty contrasting of the Batman. If you've got this dark, brooding detective guy whose parents were murdered by the scum of Gotham City, who preys on the fears of his enemies, I just feel like fun adventure is not going to cut it. Not saying JJ couldn't do it, and that's the thing with any director. There's no way of knowing whether or not they could even actually do it until, you know, they actually do and maybe knock one out of the park. Who knows? You know, I'm just a guy on the internet screaming his opinions into a microphone. But just based on what I have seen, what I reckon, it probably wouldn't work. All right, this will certainly be controversial because nearly every film he ever does is, but have you ever seen this petition to get Zack Snyder to direct it? All right. Hear me out. In Batman v Superman, the things people hated the most were the story choices. In fact, the Batman scenes were the highlights of the film. So just hear me out. You pick a really good writer, like a real good one who won't let his story be changed for the wrong reasons, then you get Zack Snyder to direct it. Whoa. Did you hear that? That was the sound of the internet splitting in half over controversy. But I stand by what I said. He has shown he can direct his Batman well already. And we all know he has a fantastic eye for imagery, but you know what? Zack Snyder works in mysterious ways. I feel like somehow, just somehow, something in the film would become the most controversial thing of whatever year this film came out. Somehow, he just manages to do it again and again, these weird controversial things. So maybe, just maybe, it'd be a safe choice to not go with him. Plus, I feel like he's been given too many chances and he just hasn't pulled through enough of them. But at the same time, just look at him. He just looks like he wants to please us. Poor guy. Tell you what, we'll shelve you for now and see how Justice League goes. If the Batman scenes are really good, I'll give you a call. Until then, I shall move on. What's another big name director? Of course, George Miller. You remember that scene in Batman v Superman? That practically was Mad Max. Even if you listen to the score closely, which I won't play here for fear of copyright claims, it sounded very similar to Fury Roads. Which, kind of makes sense because it was the same composer, but still, it was a sick scene, regardless of its odd placement in the film. Plus, as you may or may not know, George Miller was going to do a Justice League movie some time ago. He even had himself a little cast with Armie Hammer as the Batman. Obviously, he wouldn't have Armie Hammer, but he would probably get a camera. I'm sure that DC would give him a camera, which means directing. Now, a lot of people would say George Miller, no questions asked, but I have a few things to say first. So hold your horses. To do Fury Road, which admittedly is incredible, George Miller had many, many years to think it through. So many years, in fact, that pre-production actually started in 1997. That's like exactly 18 years. 18 years to consistently think of better ways to do things. 18 years to perfect all the storyboards and the script. Yes, there's no denying that the final product George Miller achieved was incredible. In fact, I know a guy who's good friends with George Miller, and I hear that the way old Georgie thinks is pretty spectacular. I'd just like to see a little more evidence from him before throwing the Batman at him, because remember, before Fury Road, he did those Happy Feet movies, which are not exactly universally loved. So yes, I reckon he could really be incredible. I just feel like it could be a risk. Alright, there was a few directors who recently made some big movies, and tell you what, I'd like to throw out my ideal suggestion, like the one I personally think should direct it. David Fincher. That's right, David Fincher. I genuinely feel that David Fincher is the perfect choice to direct a Batman film. Perfect. Seven, Fight Club, Zodiac, The Social Network, Gone Girl, all great film that show this real kind of suspenseful, thriller-esque storytelling that I think would fit the Batman beautifully. Seven has some great detectiving and a fantastic villain twist reveal thingy. Fight Club has the Joker in it. Zodiac has a very kind of long Halloween, sort of growing tension, slow build, and like, I can't get away from the word tension. The Social Network has Lex Luthor and, is just really well directed with the actors and the dialogue and all that. Gone Girl has the Batman himself in it, along with, spectacular pacing, great twists and reveals, and just all of these things I feel combined would make a great Batman movie. He's got suspense, he's got tension, he's got drama, he's got twists, he's got just all the good things that you want in a movie. And I'm not saying David Fincher should just do these things. I'm trying to say that he clearly has some sort of experience with the sort of things you'd want from a Batman film, and he has the, the skills to kind of bring them together in a new and fresh way that I think would just really work for the Batman. But look, the purpose of this video isn't to tell you who should direct the Batman, even if that is the title. The purpose is to open a dialogue with you, the listeners, so we can discuss who we think would be cool to direct it. So let me know who you reckon should direct it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until then, have a good one. Jay Grizzle, out.